putting money into this type of area to type of build it up. And due to supply and demand is actually happening right now in the economy, properties out there are scarce, right? And even Tony had mentioned this as well when we actually were talking to him, and that if you have a property out there now, you can kind of get more for the property because of the fact it's scarce. So the supply of property right now is low, so that means demand is high. And that's just normal principles with supply and demand. So you can definitely get more for this property, but we lowballed it. I'm at about 160 grand. And if you look at the numbers, you know, the profit should be about 47,000. Now, that being said, again, that ARV is a little low. So what I do want to do, actually, Ron, bring up the next one with the comps so people can kind of see how we lowballed the numbers.
Boom, comps.
So there you go. So these are properties in the area, right? That's 7th Street. That's literally right around the corner. We're on 6th Street. So that one just sold for 162,000. There's another one on 8th Street. Again, we're on 6th Street. That's just 2 blocks away for 180. And then another one on 8th that's sold for 202. So you see the ARV, the number that we use is actually lower than the numbers that you're seeing here. All right, so go back to the other with the numbers there. So I'm going to talk about, let's talk about the purchase price real quick. So I'll go over that for everybody because I know people wonder, how the heck did you use a credit card? So it's a strategy that I kind of learned being part of this community, where you could use credit cards in different ways, right? So one creative way that you could use a credit card, which is the strategy I use, is I do have pretty good credit, to say, right? So what I do is actually I leverage my credit. A lot of people are like, hey, I got a good credit score, you know, and they basically want to put it on a little mantle and frame it and say, hey, my credit score is 7 something or whatever. But are you leveraging your credit? And that's something that I didn't really understand. So what I did, right, is what the banks kind of do a lot of times, they'll send you these things called convenience checks or promo checks. Does anybody know what they are? Let me know in the chat. Do you know have anybody seen convenience checks or promo checks? I wish I had one on me. But they're these little things that the bank usually sends out. It's basically like free money. Most people take them and we're kind of trained to take them and throw them away, because when people get credit, they usually assign it to debt. And that's kind of like a bad connotation that kind of happens nowadays. But if you become financially literate, you understand how to leverage things like that. So what I did was I took that convenience check. Now I do have credit cards with pretty high limits. So this particular credit card, I had a $23,000 limit on the card. So convenience checks, usually what they are, they're promo checks where they'll give you X amount of dollars up to the limit on the card. You could use that, whatever that number is. So I took the 11,000 and I basically directly deposited the check into my account. So you can usually call them up on the phone and say, hey, I want, 11,000. Can you just put this into my checking account, right? And that's exactly what they do. Within 24 to 48 hours, that money will be sitting right there, boom, sitting in your checking account. So now I got $11,000 sitting in the checking account. I use that money to now go out, boom, purchase this property. Now, of course, when your bill comes on that credit card, you're just going to say, hey, it's just going to show that you took $11,000 out and just sitting on the credit card now, and then now the money's sitting there. Now, another great thing about that is typically that is 0% APR. So those convenience checks, it was actually 0% APR for about 14 months. So basically, I got $11,000, and they might charge you a little fee, what they call just to use it, convenience check fee, but it's usually maybe about 3% about how much you borrow, maybe 5%, depending on what banking institution you're using. So you basically pay, let's say it was 3%. What is it, like $300 to get 11,000? It's pretty sweet. $330. That's pretty sweet, right? So that's how I did that. So that was that there, and the private money, I didn't talk about that, so that's why I came back to that. So private money, I'm actually the private money lender on this deal. So with the repair costs, right, I basically worked out something with Joe. So the repair costs, I know people might be wondering, hey, did you guys get a loan or nothing? No. I basically was the lender. So what I said is I worked out with Joe. I said, you know what? If I lend my money, you got to give me 15% of my money. So I'm basically making money twice on this deal. I'm part equity, right? And then I'm also getting interest. So thank you, Joe.
You see all that?
Nice.
15%, yo. And
so that's money lending.
And I thought we was boys, right? Like 15%, come on, man.
So that's what, so you take 80,000, right? 15% of that is the 12 grand. So that's actually going to me.
And the more we got repairs, is
and I just keep. So I'm racking up crazy.
It's a little bit of an
So
advantage.
you see, I was a little stressed sitting there, but I'm really not because I'm still making money on this, no matter how we look at it.
Look,
so
there's an advantage to being
there
a
you
bank,
go.
man. There's an advantage to being a bank and being a lender. That's part of the thing out here. I gotta switch my strategy.
So there you go. So I guess we can go to the classes real quick, the trainings and what we're learning.
Jason's going to show you how he learned all these different strategies.
So I'll talk about one. I'll let Joe talk about something. So the velocity banking, right? So that is actually a strategy. If you have any type of outstanding debt, credit cards, loans, things of that nature, we show you a strategy through that training. Actually, if you're really interested about that, this Wednesday at 6:30, I'll be online doing a training. So get whoever invited you. I'll be doing a training to explain how that works. But I actually use it in my life. Like I paid off so much. I mean, $19,000 in student loans because I did go to Stony Brook. So I paid that up in only 9 months. And the crazy thing is it should have only took me 6 months. But I made a mistake, right? Trying to be a know-it-all. I messed up. So full disclosure, but I should have done it in 6 months. It took me 9 months to pay off $19,000. What else? Even like all type of debt. Like I'm really pretty much debt free at this point. Due to that strategy, and that was a blessing learning that. Tax and legal, day 1 and day 2, definitely understanding what type of entity. That was definitely needed here because a couple entities came together to actually get on this deal. So that was important. Knowing what we could write off, definitely important. And we want to talk about...
This is a write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
being here is a write-off.
Just being here is a write-off because this is maintenance. Remember, we came here to meet with the electrician. So the whole gas, car, any food, you know what I mean, that we do, is all of that has become a write-off. And we learned about that. You know, we turned this into, hey, let's showcase a property to it. But really, we just came to meet the electrician. We just really came to meet the electrician today. We had an appointment to meet with the electrician today. And we came down here and walked through with him. And now, because of tax and legal, where we learn, and you got an opportunity to learn this too. We learn how to take this whole maintenance trip into a write-off, right? These are some of the things that we learn. And why we do this is so that we inspire someone on this line today to be able to possibly be part of a community like us. We're showing how we're doing it, right? So that way you don't have to go out there and bump your head.
All right. So creative acquisition, it was definitely creatively acquired, you know, using the credit card and that. What else we got, Ron? Fix and flip. Well, you guys saw this was so that's another thing, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. I want to know the answer to this too. Who knows the difference between fix and flip and a rehab? Who knows the difference? Let's know in the chat.
Let's see what we got.
What we got? Because this is big, right? A lot of people say, hey, I want to start fixing and flipping. I want to start getting into doing deals. But then I ask this question quite often, and most people can't answer. What is the difference between a fix and flip and a rehab? You got any answers there, Ron?
While they thinking about that.
Tony Brown's been in a lot of our meetings, though. He knows. Tony Brown said time frame. There you go, Antonio. I know you know the difference. He's been around our community for a while, so he knows that he got the cheat code.
I would like to know.
Reggie wants to
know. Look at that. See, a lot of people don't really know the difference.
Right, fix and flip. If you sell the property. Hold on, let me put up the
What's
chat.
up,
right
Joan?
All right.
We were trying to bring up the chat.
We can see the chat now. Let me see.
Good.
Fix and flips are gutted question. Actually, no.
Judy.
Some flips are gutted, but not that. That's something I would like to know. A rehab, you gutted it out. A fix and flip, right? Touches here and there.
Yeah.
Good
Andy,
one, definitely.
Judy's on it.
Fix and flip, you sell the property, and rehab is improvement. Sort of. You got, Joan, you got some things to learn. You're in the right place, though. You're in the right place. You can learn.
There we go.
Fix and flip is mainly cosmetic. Rehab is major work.
Right. That's pretty much
needed with permits. Yes.
So just
look, somebody put rehab is buy and hold. Joan.
No.
We here to help you, Joan.
Joan, come on, Joan.
Come on, Joan.
Dive into the training, Joan.
We gonna help you understand. We
Joan,
gonna help you understand. Look, fix and flip. You fix and flip. Fix and flip. You fix and sell. Rehab, you fix it and rent it out.
No, that's
and take out
hold.
equity.
That's buying.
Who's that?
That's buy and hold. No.
I kenna.
Close.
I kenna. We got you. This is, you see. Let me tell y'all, this is why we do this, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, right? Yes. Where you could just learn, and it's okay. First of all, I commend you for even answering the question. We commend you for that. And understand that this is what we do. We help you understand the answers to those questions, right? And the only reason why those people even ask those questions because they're out there searching for information. They're doing things. There's activity. I know, Joan, you're looking for something. You're doing some things. Let me just remind you that you're in the right place to get the answers. All right? We got a paragraph over here. The difference between wholesalers. We'll do that later.
We'll do that later. So, the real difference is your time frames, right? Your time frames. A lot of people may get into a fix and flip, right? Think it's a fix and flip, and then it turns out to be a rehab. With this property here, this is a full gut rehab. Right, so if you're talking fix and flip, it's the time frame. Usually fix and flip, someone said it earlier, maybe cosmetics, you know, you're just touching up some things, making it nicer. You might want to update a kitchen, do some flooring, things of that nature. Maybe 6 months, 8 months, around that time frame, something like that. But if you're doing a rehab, that takes longer. It might take you 2 years to do a rehab, right? We've got some investors who sit on properties for a while. We've sat on this property for a while. But again, you got to understand, you know, you're understanding your closing costs, understanding your holding costs, things of that nature. So if you have that all intact, that's where you still make profit. The biggest challenge is that if you don't understand your holding costs, you think you're doing a fix and flip, it turns into a rehab, and all that time holding the property, you eat away your profit. That's the biggest challenge. All right? Now, of course, that we talked about 10, I love. That's private and hard money, right? I love that one. We were having a talk on the way up here about that, and Ariana's eyes lit up. Jonathan's eyes lit up, because they said, wait, private and hard money? Well, this training right here is about a 6 to 8 hour training, which will teach you not only how to have a conversation with a private and hard money lender, it also teaches you how to become the private and or hard money lender. So this is exactly where I learned how to start doing money lending in this training right here. All right, so I think that's it. Buy and hold, that's another thing you can, look into. We could use this as a buy and hold property as well. That option's still available.
Right. So the buy and hold part is just because we know usually when we purchase, we have an extra exit strategy just in case it doesn't sell. Like if Tony can't do his job, right? if Tony,
dang, man.
If Tony, but Tony insures us already. Tony already insures us. The market is hot. But just in case, right? We learn to have multiple exit strategies. So, with this property, we do have enough to actually, we can make it a rental. We can just throw a mortgage on it, and we could just make it a buy and hold immediately, and also cash flow. That's a second exit strategy from it being a fix and flip. So these are some of the things that we learned how to do. Tony, man, I know you're gonna do your thing. Here come Tony right now.
Yeah, I gotta come up here because he trying to throw me under the bus. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm right now this year to date, I'm at 40 plus closings with like 8 pending. So
there you go. There you go. I only did that so he could come up here. That's the only reason why I did that. I only did that so he could come up here.
Swing back, right?
All right.
Swing back.
So where we at? I think that's about it.
That's it for our learning part.
So what's the next one?
Where are panelists? Oh. Yeah.
Panelists, where are they?
These are our panelists right here. It's Q&A time.
Jason and and Joe Styles. You can follow them on Instagram and
So-
on Facebook. They are real investors, what they do day in and day out. Then you also have Carlos, Los Unstoppable, the guru, as we call him. He's not a guru, but we call him a guru. We go to him with a lot of questions. You have myself, Ron Carpe, and then you have the other guru from New Jersey, killing it, wholesaling it, short selling it, Jose. Learn real estate investing. He's another investor in our community that's been really killing it, lighting it up.
Jose just flipped the property a week or two ago. He got a nice stay. Yeah, Jose. We see you
Check it out on
moving.
Instagram. Woo.
Yes, definitely follow all of us.
Yeah, and it's
on.
bartender_J.
They can't see the
Can't see the
underscore.
underscore.
They can't see the underscore because of the J.
That's cool.
Jose is an experienced investor. Carlos just bought a 3-unit. So for all of you here, during this Q&A, you have a lot of help to answer a lot of the questions that you may have about getting into real estate, getting your fix and flip, your first rental, whichever one it is. So let's
There it
fire
is.
away.
Fire away.
Fire away.
Vanessa.
Q&A session.
Carlos, put a smile on your face, Carlos. You look sad.
I got a ton of questions for these guys.
There's-
Let Carlos
there's
start it
Vanessa.
off, man.
I like
Carlos.
that shirt, Vanessa.
Hey, I'm asking you guys a couple questions, real quick. So I'm curious. Did you guys? I know the cost of materials in the rehab have been going up. Are you guys factor that cost with this new surprise and other stuff that you guys got going on with the rehab? How does that affect your profit?
Well, with the surprise, it's eating into our profits, obviously. It's just that, luckily, and not luckily, we did get it at a low enough price. And because the market is hot and the values were conservative, we do got some room for, what is it? The floors, the sheetrock, repair the roof. So it is factored. Now, they do speak of, I'm hearing a lot about the materials is high, the materials are higher. We just, it's just part of the game, brother.
And remember, I'm
we
the money
ready.
lender, so I'm going to still keep making
It just keeps coming. So it's like it's not really a big deal.
For me, it's not really,
It's not really a big deal. It's just, you understand?
It's just adding on.
It just adds on to it.
Hey, next question I got for you guys. Have you guys thought about all the talk that we've been hearing for months ever since COVID hit about the pending downturn with the whole forbearance of mortgage checks coming due early next year? Everybody's expecting for a downturn in the market. If your flip continues on into that downturn, are you guys have explored other exit strategies other than selling it?
Okay, so what I'd like to say to that is, other than selling the property, again, we could do a rental. We could rent it, and I gotta check. Another one is I'll check on the Airbnb, the short-term rental regulations here. We can possibly do that because we're not that far from, the airport around here. So we can do short-term rental or a lease situation, or even if someone needs a property, we can do another exit strategy, which would be a lease with an option to purchase later, which can be another year or 2 years out. So a person can lease the property for a certain price, and we could sell it to them at a later date if there's a mortgage crisis or they can't qualify for a loan.
Cool. All right. How long has rehab been going? Because I've been hearing everybody talking about your Delaware property for quite a while.
Bro, let me tell you.
How long have you guys been into it?
This property, we bought this property, we're over a year, right?
Yeah, it's like
because one of the things is this. Our main thing is this. We had contractors, and then they were working and everything was going well, and then things started to happen. There was just like these weird things, like all of a sudden the windows got stolen.
The tiles.
The tiles got stolen.
stolen.
How the tiles get
How?
stolen? Somebody broke in, the tiles got stolen. We had so many delays, and we kind of trusted the first set of contractors, and this is the reason. Because they got all the permits and they're licensed, right? They got all the permits and they're licensed. So that being the case, we felt that we were good, so we just worked with them. eventually it just, you know, it was just too much. We couldn't stay with them, so we had to get a new contractor. Now, to switch contractors, there's another delay because it's a takeover. And whatever the first people did, the next person is almost, they got to do everything over. So it's almost like we did the renovation twice.
Right.
We literally had to do the renovation twice. That was the second delay, right? So the second contractor was much better. He's the one that was able to finish what you're seeing here. But then we ran into COVID, right? And then in this state, in this area, when COVID hit, everything was shut down. Right? Everything was shut down because one of the longest things we were finished, we couldn't get an inspector
To close permit.
to come here to get us a C of O, a occupancy certificate. So we couldn't even get that we just got the guy like last month to come here. That's how we were able to get the electrician today.
Right.
We couldn't get an inspector to come here and tell us, okay, this is good, you just need to, you know, finish this, is, you know, the little parts. That alone, on the COVID side, I gotta say it was 8 months long, right? 8 months. Just on the COVID.
Just the house sitting at the state.
Just the house sitting just like this. Right? But once we got rid of the contractors, nothing got stolen though. Right? So you know the contractors, we had to get, so we had the first delay, and then we got rid of the contractors, the house is here, everything is fine. Right? Everything is fine. So dealing with contractors was a big delay. Go ahead.
That leads me to the last one, which is going to touch on what Jay was saying about coming in with a credit card purchase. And I don't know if you guys want to. I get the feeling that the audience doesn't understand the full benefit and value of what Jason did with acquiring a property with a credit card. Because you're holding this for a year and a half, you avoid a loan scenario. You avoid lender's costs. You avoid amortized interest. And you're coming in with a simple interest rate card. And because you're holding this for a year and a half, you're not experiencing the holding costs you would have if you came in with hard money lending. And so I don't think people realize, I think most people say, okay, he paid with a credit card. But I don't know if Jason wants to elaborate on the benefit of that, given the experience that you guys had on holding this for over a year. Because you guys probably could have faced some losses if you was holding with hard money at this point.
Yeah, man, bad. Right? I'm gonna let Jason talk about that.
So that's great. And I know Carlos totally understands where this comes from, because actually Carlos is one of the people who do the exposure as far as that velocity banking. So within one of the trainings that we have, that velocity banking, yes, it shows you the difference of how much money that you're basically spending or wasting, right, using a loan. It's a huge difference between amortized debt, and if you don't know what amortized is, please look it up. I highly, recommend it. Like I said, 6:30 Wednesday. Get on there if you want to learn, understand this. Amortized debt, as opposed to having interest on a credit card, typically you're way better off. One thing we teach people: lines is better than loans, and that all boils down to, again, financial literacy. I never knew this stuff before I became a part of this organization, but I learned it, right? And when you learn the difference, like people say, hey, I want that loan, the interest rate's only 6%. Well, I'll look at you and say, you know what? I'll take that credit card at 21%. And what I literally do is I'll break it down mathematically just to show you that credit card at an interest rate at 21% is still better typically than the loan at 6%. So we're kind of brainwashed and trained to think, hey, the lower rate, I want that lower rate. Right? But when you understand how the interest is being calculated behind the scenes, you'll get a whole, like the light bulb will go off, right? So that really explains it. Just understanding the difference on how your interest is being calculated on each scenario. So again, like Carlos said, hey, if we had hard money lenders, we'd have been points, and definitely would have been way higher interest rates over time, and even same thing with a loan. But having a credit card at 0% APR, like I said, I basically $330 to borrow $11,000. That's a no-brainer all day. So I hope that clarifies.
I'm sure they still don't get it, right? I'm sure a lot of people are going to focus on that 21% interest rate card. even if you had a 0% interest rate card, and let's say they charge you an interest, you'll still benefit. So I just wanted to make sure people understood the overall benefit of what you did with that credit card, because I think it might went past a couple people. But that's all I got. I got other questions, but I saw other audience, folks on the audience that have similar questions, so I'm gonna let their questions get answered.
Well, Jose, you got questions?
Jose, I'm sure Jose's gonna hit you guys with some questions. that's a true guru right there.
Jose, there he is.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, bro?
Listen, if I would have known you was in Wilmington, man, I would have Airbnb your house last night, man. That's where the party was.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys missed that.
He said you missed it.
Politics on this one. But hey, listen. Great. I'm just curious, man. From hearing the whole thing, it sounds like the back end on COVID is kind of helping you guys out a little bit. So what was your ARV on initially purchasing the price? What were your original numbers on the rehab and on the sales side?
Wait. This is why he's a guru, because he caught that. The fact that he caught that. Listen, working with these two guys here on the panel is crazy, because he caught that. He sees that.
And
so
we talked about this too. And he
listen,
just asked the
we
question.
did talk about that. He asked a question. Prior to COVID, right, Tone? Prior to COVID, the property values were lower.
It's like 125, 130.
We were at 120, 130 max.
Yeah.
ARV max. Bring up the numbers, Ron. Bring up the numbers. Actually, just pull up the comps. I'm gonna show you right now where the comps at. There it is.
Yeah, so you had the highest comp at 200 before. Yeah, there you go.
No, this is after COVID, right?
Right.
200 after, but prior, our max was 130,000. Right? Nothing was really selling around here, and it wasn't as hot, right? Tone, it wasn't as hot. Selling. You heard when he ran up here and he was like, look, I'm selling like hot. It's crazy. So yes, after the COVID, our max shot up. I think we gained about almost 30 grand in terms of value, minimum. And we're still being conservative, just because as investors, we got to be conservative on the back end. So yes, Jose, 100%, brother.
Yeah, he's right.
You're right.
Right. Okay. So what happened with so Tony was the same realtor that found the property for you?
Oh, the finding of the property. We found this property on Craigslist, bro.
Gotcha.
It was a Craigslist find. For everybody that's asking that question, it was a Craigslist find. We learned how to look in different places for properties. This was an investor, another investor who had this. He was gonna fix and flip it, and he needed to get out of town. He needed to go to Minnesota, so he had to dump it quickly. Right? He bought it for about $7 grand.
He bought it for
$8 grand, and then we negotiated basically just for him to get out of here. Went to 11. That was it.
And he got it on the tax lien.
And he got it on a tax lien. There it is.
Gotcha. I mean, great, just good deal, man. Good stuff that COVID's helping you guys out, man. I'm happy for that for you guys.
Thank God that profit is produced that purchase.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess my last question, out of all this stuff that you learned, what's the most valuable lesson for you guys on this project? Doing something out of state.
Well, for me, I would say the one thing I learned is the confidence to do it. Right? Talking with Carlos, I remember prior, I wouldn't have done something away from my town. Right? I'm in New York, so what the hell am I doing here in Delaware? The thing is, it's difficult to have the confidence to do that, to do something away from your state. But being part of this community and being part of people around me that show me that I can do it, that's what gave me the confidence, right? The one thing that I learned is because of the contractor situation that we had to switch, communication is very, very important. out here. Communication is important. Being able to communicate with the people that you're working with, how to talk, what are they saying, what are they doing, knowing what that is. I learned that the better I am with communicating, the better I get things done. So that's one of my main lessons.
Yeah, for me, hands down, is I would say communication, because I personally feel that things would have moved differently if the communication levels were higher. And also when you talk about, so you have people on projects doing certain things, and sometimes you figure, okay, I'm going to delegate this, I'm going to delegate this. Well, what I feel is that sometimes you delegate, and then maybe you delegate it to the wrong person, or maybe you delegated different actions. So maybe you say, okay, well, maybe that's my strong point, maybe I'll take that, and we switch roles. But again, have that communication so that everyone's, you know, moving in the same way. I think that'll help like a lot. So that's what I learned in this situation, definitely.
Gotcha. So I mean, listen, I know you mentioned one thing before, man, about painting the outside, bro. You gotta make it look nice, man. Don't just power wash it, bro. Come on.
Don't go power wash. That's it.
You gotta paint it, make it look nice. Get the 200 grand. Get the 200.
We go for the 200, right? Go for the
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You gotta put in the work, make it the outside look nice. You know, you don't gotta spend too much, but you know, make it look good. You get the 200 for that.
Get the 200.
No problem, bro. We got you.
Good job, guys. Good job.
When you do that, have someone else write a new for sale by owner sign, because I see you misspelled by.
You see that? You see this? I didn't write this.
I saw that too.
Who wrote this?
Boy, Ken.
Joe Styles.
That wasn't me, bro. That was. I do not take ons to that. Look at this. Look at this vibe. Y'all see that? That's crazy.
God. Tony gotta get that sign up there as soon as
Look
possible,
at that.
man.
Yeah, we gotta get that sign up here, man. That's why he came. So look, we had two things to do. We had to meet the electrician, and we did have to meet with Tony over here so he could do this walkthrough with us too. So we, you know, usually you meet with the electrician, you meet with your realtor, right? But at the same time, we got over 80 people watching us, you know, do this property tour, which I think is also cool, right? You meet with the electrician, meet with the realtor, and you're showcasing what we've done. We're showcasing what we've done and the story behind this property. I think that's a lot of value, and this is all because of our community, right? And I think that's a lot. I believe that's a lot of value.
Nice. So I'll let other people ask questions and I'll come back later.
Cool.
All right. Vanessa, you ready? Let's let him go. Let's let it rip.
All right, I'm ready. I love that. I hope everyone else loved that too.
Why you turn your camera off?
Did I? I didn't.
There you go.
That's okay.
Let's talk. Oh, what entrepreneurs go all night. We like that shirt.
It's a great shirt. Here we go.
All right, give me a second then. I got to get the chat on my laptop dead since my camera's going out. I know the first question was where you guys found the deal, but we answered that one.
Craigslist. Again, we can say it again. It was a Craigslist find. We learned how to look in different places to find property.
Wait, didn't Carlos find his deal in Craigslist too?
Yep.
Right, Carlos?
Yep, Craigslist.
Craigslist
Your
is
own
it, guys.
marketing
You hear
voice.
it? You heard it here first.
All right, then Shaquille wanted to know which city of Delaware. You're in Wilmington, right?
Wilmington.
All right. Elizabeth asked, how much is the house?
$11K.
11,000.
And then she also asked, was the house destroyed? So, you know, based on looking at the pictures, and that's how you guys found it, was it destroyed beforehand?
Well, you could just say that what happened was the people who owned the property prior to us, they were here for a long time. And after a while, there was a lot of neglect. There was just a ton of neglect with the property. So that's really what it was. It was just neglect. You know, taking care of an infrastructure can be, it just gets to be a pain. And as people get older, they don't want to take care. It doesn't matter anymore. They didn't want to take care of the property. So obviously that roof was a big issue. So it was just neglect. So the word destroyed is relative to what you feel destroyed is. So it wasn't destroyed. It was just I would say it was just in bad condition, unlivable. Distressed. We call it distressed. There you go. We call it distressed.
All right. So Eduardo wanted to know: is this a gutted rehab or versus a middle rehab?
Well, not sure.
Gut.
Yeah.
Full gut.
It's a full gut rehab.
We
get new permits on everything,
Yeah.
plumbing,
We went
electric, to the bones.
We went to the bones.
You saw the pictures. Like, this was no, you had to go through everything.
This is a total rip out.
Rip out, rebuild. And then change. Like we said, we changed the whole structure. We went from a 4-1 to a 3-2.5. So you got to pull permits and all that.
Yeah, we pulled permits because remember, we added 2 bathrooms. The house came with 1 and we added 2 more. So when you add bathrooms like that, you got to pull permits. And we did.
Good question.
All right. You did get a lot of like nice and beautifuls. They love the bathroom in the bedroom.
Cool.
When you guys were doing walkthrough. Jersine wanted to know what's the ARV.
160, we showed that on the slide. But we showed you,
Yeah.
it's, we're playing conservative on that, but you see properties already sold for more than with the number we put.
Right? We're hoping, we're shooting for that 2. We shoot for that 2.
We shoot for the 2, but we got to do
Me and
some
Tony
things.
got to have a conversation, but we shooting for that 2. All right? The
That
ARV
is-
we want, that's what we shooting for. The ARV we started with was 130. The ARV that I say that we're at right now is a safe 160,000. That's the safe number.
And of course, if you get more, then beautiful.
The follow-up question was, is this an HML or JV joint venture?
JV joint venture. What does HML stand for? Does anybody know?
To me, that's hard money lending, but
Oh, hard money lending. So the person asked the question.
I mean, that's what it means to me. I don't know if that's what
HML could be
what
hard
they
money
meant.
lending. So it's a little out of context. So a JV, usually people associate JVs with wholesalers.
Wholesaling.
Right. So
this
sometimes.
this is a flip.
I mean,
we're partners.
We did partner up. So it is a joint venture. We did partner up. His entity and my entity are doing the property. So hopefully that helps you.
I hope that's what he meant. If that doesn't clarify, just throw it back in the chat again.
Yeah, just come back
I
with
think
it.
what they're asking for, if you guys want hard money or a private lender. And I think it's, private lending now.
Private, yeah.
Private
That's what they're
lending.
trying to ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
private
think that's
lending.
what they're trying to ask.
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Yeah, that's private lending with higher interest, man. I don't know, man. What's up with that?
I know, right? You saw what he charging? 15%, bro. Crazy.
All right,
We gotta eat, Jose.
Has the rehab taken on the property?
What is it, like a year and a half?
Yeah, we're a year and a half on how the rehab didn't take long at
right.
all. Right? Listen. Our guy came December, he was done in February. So December, January, it was 2 months. It was
Yeah, he
really,
was quick.
really, the rehab really took 60 days. Right? Everything else around us is what caused the delay.
Yeah, the work was fast.
The work with the right person, the right contractor, the second contractor that we got,
yeah, he
worked. He did this basically 3 months, in and out the door. You understand? 3 months. It's just everything else around. We got the first set of contractors, and then we have the delays with the COVID. So, if you're thinking rehab, the right contractor, this property is only 12, almost 1,300 square feet. It's not that big. He did it 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3 months. 1, 2, 3 months.
All right. Tony B wanted to know, how long do you think this new roof issue will set you back?
I don't
in order to
know,
set-
Tony.
We haven't started even thinking about that, right? We here with y'all right now. We even.
I don't want to talk about that right now. I don't want to talk about that
we
right
even,
now.
We ain't even think that over yet. We just moving on, right?
All right. So Neville wants to know, if you buy a property with a credit card, what percentage of price applies to the card?
What percentage of price? 100% went to the card. So the purchase price was $11,000. All $11,000 went on the card at 0% APR. I hope that's what he means. Never, what you mean? Clarify that, bro.
Come back in the chat.
Come back.
Come back to. Come up with
The
your
whole
follow-up
purchase
question.
price went on to the credit card.
Eduardo wants to know, was the profit 15% or 20%?
The profit?
The profit.
The profit. What do you mean? Do you mean the interest that I'm charging for the money? That's not considered profit. That's interest.
Who's that? Neville?
No, that's someone else.
Yeah, he said that was the answer.
Okay.
Okay. So who asked the question about the profit? 15%, 20%.
Eduardo.
Eduardo.
So I think he means the interest rate.
Eduardo,
So the interest that I'm charging for the money on the rehab. So the rehab is $80,000. 15% of $80,000 is 12. So that's interest that I'm receiving for money lending. That has nothing to do with the equity as far as profit's concerned.
So that's your profit then, right?
Well, yeah. See?
That's his profit.
That's separate. So that's
separate.
not
You know what I'm
profit
saying?
from equity. That's separate.
If you want to learn how to be a money lender, right? We have systems within our community that help you learn that, right? If you want to be learning how to make 12 and 15% on your money, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Get with the person that invited you so they can get your questions answered on, more about being a lender. You see the results.
The results are beautiful.
Right? He's a result. Over here talking about his 15%. So if you want to have results like this guy, then
well, you can split the 40 something with me.
we can split. See, now we
gonna split the 40. Matter of fact, we go for the 200. So
we go for the 200.
We gonna split 50,000 or something together.
We gotta do that. We go for the 200.
Just to interject right there real quick, is a big difference between profit and interest.
Right, that's what I was trying to
when it comes
explain.
When it comes to the taxes and the way you declare your money, your income.
Oh, tell him, Jose.
No, that's capital gains is gonna kill you with the 40, 50 grand that you
Right.
make. Right, where you're so you better have a good strong deduction game. I'm sure you do, because you already have all those capital improvements for that property. So, but at the end of the day, that lending, it's passive income. It's a way different animal. But you're gonna get potentially you're probably gonna wind up paying a little bit more taxes depending on how you run your business on the money that you're making from the interest than on the actual capital gains on that property, potentially.
Cool.
Depending on how you structure it. But that's the difference, just to clarify that for people there.
Thank you.
I think that was what was lost early on, is the relationship between you guys. So Joe, you're the investor, and Jason, you're the lender, right?
No.
Well, put it like this: we're both the investor, and then on top of that, he's the lender.
Okay, so he's a lender with an equity share.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay.
That's why they call you what they call you.
I was trying to figure it out. So he's the lender with an equity share plus his interest.
Yes.
And hey, if that's how you structure your partnership, put me on the next one.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yo, find the deals, bro. We'll give you the money, bro.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Jay, so you gotta tell me your scripts, Jay.
Afterwards. That's secret stuff, man. That's secret scripts right there, man.
All right, what's next?
They probably don't
Vanessa?
even know what they say. Like, what are they talking about?
I know, right? Some of y'all know.
To add on to that, Kev wanted to know, what was the interest on the convenience checks? Was there any interest?
0% APR for 14 months. So 0.
Farrell asks, why did you decide to invest in this particular neighborhood?
Good question.
Oh, well, you know what? We had a team member that came to the community and wanted to learn how to get his first deal. So what he did was he was familiar with this area, and when he bought, he came to us to learn, right? Brand new person looking for their first deal, came to the community to learn. So in the process of learning, he did find the property and bought it to me. And when he bought it to me, I jumped right on it, and then we did our thing. So it's not, I personally wasn't in Wilmington. I'm the investor. I'm an investor looking for deals. I learned how to find deals. On top of that, when it's a brand new person that also wants to learn, right? Our systems enable us to do that. That's the one thing that we have that we could bring value to a lot of you that are on this line that are brand new. We can help you get to your first deal if that's what you're looking to do. And this is what we were able to do with this one. This was a first-time brand new person that bought the deal to us. So that's how that worked out.
All right, so Malik wanted to know what was the budget to flip?
The original budget?
The original budget.
Oh,
yeah.
see, why are you bringing that up? This is hurtful. This is painful. It was supposed to just be, the full gut, let's just say the full budget was supposed to just be about 60 grand, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like 60.
But we're over that. We're over the budget, right? We're over the budget. The thing is, because we bought it at a low price and we're benefiting from the value going up, the ARV right now,
that's what makes it better.
That's what gives us the cushion. Because otherwise, it's a possibility that we would have either just broken even or even lost money on this deal. Big possibility. Right? But what we do is we get in the game, we do it. And that's just part of it. Right? Without, what's the term? Without any risk.
No reward.
No reward. So we go for the reward. We have to. We're not worried about failing. We're not worried about losing. Right? We've learned to have the confidence, and that's why we're here.
Honestly, for me, it was like a no-brainer, because I was going to make money regardless.
You see this guy? Somebody get him out of here, man. This is crazy. He's going to make money regardless.
That's how you play it, right? That's how the game works.
That's the game, baby. He's going to make money
When you know the
regardless.
rules, listen, this is chess, man. I play chess. I play chess.
I got you.
Eduardo wanted to know, can this be done without using banks?
The bank wasn't done on this. Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
The bank wasn't used on this property.
Eduardo, listen. Eduardo had the first question. You're trying to learn again. You're in the right place. No banks, right? We are a community that learned how to not use banks. Right. So if you have a relationship like with your friend, like I do here, right now, I'm getting even more people like, hey Joe, find the deals. I got a credit card. So now, based on the relationships that I have with right now my team members, or the relationships that you may have, you can get funding. You can learn how to get funding apart from a bank, because a bank is so limited when it comes to funding on investment projects. So no, we didn't use a traditional bank. In this case, we use a private lender. So if you want to learn more about getting to and having a conversation with a private lender, you know what to do. Contact us. Come back to us.
All right. So Mark asked about exit plan and strategy, but you guys mentioned you would either rent it or do Airbnb.
Yes.
Right.
If we can't sell it, then the rental exit strategy is an option, 100%.
Yeah, right. Burn method would work.
Jersine wanted to know what's the square foot of the house.
It's almost 1,300. It's 1,250, I believe, or is it 1,350?
What do we say?
1,250. 1,250. 1,250 square feet.
Eduardo again says purchase price $11,000 for a property.
We like Eduardo.
Yes, but then it said, how did you get the lowball offer for this?
See, that's the thing. The lowball offer. That's the thing, right? As investors, we learn how to get the price that we prefer for a deal. Otherwise, we would not be in business. So there's no such thing. A lowball offer is just a term, man. It's just a term out there giving us a bad name. We don't do lowball offers. We do fair offers based on the condition of the property and what we're able and willing to pay. That's a fair offer. It's not a lowball offer. It's a fair offer for the condition and the situation of the property.
Do remember the condition of the property, right? Don't think about what it looks like now. Think about those beginning before pictures, what the property looked like, right? So you really can't call that a lowball if you look at that property, right? There's a lot of work is needed on this property.
You know where the term lowball comes from? A lot of times, those of you that are out there doing real estate, they try to tell you, oh, don't come with your lowball offer, or don't come with your lowball offer. That's because, some people might think that an offer is an insult. Now, when you learn how to become an investor, when you really learn how to present your offer based on condition and the market and areas, there's no lowball offers. It's just a matter of learning how to do the correct offer, something that's fair for the condition, right? You're not gonna go to a brand new house and say, okay, well, I want a discount of 100 grand. You're not gonna just say that, right? So in our system, we learn how to do fair offers with evidence as to why we're putting in that offer, right? Why would we put in an offer of 11 grand on a property? There's a lot of things, research and things that we look into. So when we learn how to present an offer, we learn how to present an offer to get accepted, not to get rejected.
It's all about motivation too, guys.
That too.
The seller, like you mentioned before, that seller was motivated to sell.
Very. He had to get out of town.
He was already an investor, so he knew what he was selling. So there was no lowball offer there. That was the motivation. So that's one of the mistakes most people make. What I made in the beginning, right? I was like, nah, I can't make that offer. That's too low. That's a lowball offer, right? I can't do that, right? But then that's because we're in our head about what we can offer, right? But the reality is, the numbers don't lie.
Numbers
right?
never lie.
If you don't make that offer, right now it'll be a different situation for you guys potentially, right?
Yes.
Without the COVID and everything like that. So it's all about motivation. So that's why when we talk about that real estate line, that slide in the presentation, right? You got to find people that are getting divorced from their properties.
Right.
Right. People that have motivation to sell. That's why they're gonna trade that equity.
Absolutely. What else you got, Vanessa?
We're almost done.
Viola said, how many people were involved with this fix? This seems to be too much work for one person to undertake. I'm thinking I need to start inviting some friends to these Zoom meetings.
Well, the original crew, the contracting crew, I believe it was 3 or 4 of them. They were brothers, the Diaz brothers. And then the other one, what was it? Like sometimes you have 4 guys.
Yeah,
working
3 guys.
3 guys. Okay, 3.
Yeah. The
So
second
3
guy.
But remember, the property isn't really not that big. 1,250 square feet isn't really that big. So, but again, the people have to know what they're doing as well. Remember, so you know what you're doing, you can flow through this thing nicely.
Now when she says do it by myself, do you mean like the whole project of getting the property and then doing it? If you need support to do it, because she said she wanted to bring some friends.
Oh, I think I'm sorry. Well, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe she meant. I assume she meant for the work. Because I'm not doing any work.
Yeah, no, she's asking how many people were actually involved in the flip. So that would be you and Joe.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So it's
How
us
many
2.
invested? Because it seems like for her, it's a lot of work for just one person if they wanted to do a flip to take on by themselves, especially all the issues that you guys went through from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
That's what the team is.
That's what the team is, the support. Vanessa, why don't you tell her about the support when it comes to that?
Yeah, you did a wholesale transaction.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Go ahead.
You can answer that question.
Answer that question.
Put me in the spotlight.
Why not?
No, so the team is phenomenal. So the team is really there to support you. So even if, let's say, you have a deal that you are doing by yourself, you're not really by yourself, because there are a lot of people on the team that you can go to ask questions, to get help. For me, I did a wholesale deal. Joe was definitely right by my side in the middle of in doing that wholesale deal. So it's not as if you're a lone wolf. You're trying to invest by yourself, and there's no one around you who has the knowledge. Everyone on the team has the knowledge. Some people have been doing it for 10, 15 years, and you tap into that knowledge, and everyone is willing to help you, which is what I love about it, because they are actually there. It's not any of those things where you come in and then everyone disappears on you.
So who did you wholesale your deal to?
I hosted my deal to the two of them.
You know what I'm saying? So that's there you go. There you go. Listen, it's one big happy family, and we do have space for those. There's always room for those who want to learn, right? That's something that we enjoy doing. So that was her first wholesale deal. So I know, right, of the 80 plus people that's still here, there's some of you that are looking for your first deal, and you're looking for that support, and you're looking for that help, right? And we have a designation, we're designed to help you with that, designed. So make sure you ask about that, right? And get your questions answered about that, so that you can do your thing. Go ahead, B.
All right. Eduardo wanted to know.
Eduardo is back.
Can we use many credit cards in the same property from different banks?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
So similar to the creative strategy that you use with the credit cards,
right?
Could you do that with multiple credit cards and from different banks?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
We can always tell. The reason why I want to give a shout out to Eduardo, me being an investor, when I started, you can always, someone who's asking a lot of questions, this is something that you really want to do. This is something, and we commend you for that. We commend everybody for being here, number one. But I know how hard it is to ask questions, even if you don't know you're asking the right question. So I always encourage people to get out there, and we celebrate that. We celebrate that. We celebrate that. So good for you.
So just remember though, right? If that's something, a strategy you're using, you just gotta understand. Well, what is your limits on your cards? Because that can definitely, play a major factor. And then your utilization ratio on your cards. So you just gotta be careful. Understand what you're doing.
All right. So, Kirill wants to
advocating to use cards.
What happened, Carlos?
I'm saying not that we're advocating for people to use cards, because it could get dangerous if they don't know what they're doing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Just be careful. Understand what you're doing. Get yourself educated to learn, right? I took a training to learn about doing that, so it's not something I just jumped out the window and started doing. And make sure you have the right paperwork, right, as well. So it's not just saying, oh, I'm going to lend, and do this. You got to understand what you're doing. It's important.
Well, we're going to go 5 more minutes.
Rapid fire question.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. We're getting there.
You getting there?
Kirill wanted to know how much does it cost, or how much will it cost you to hold the property before you sell it?
Well, so there's no real holding cost here, right? Because the credit card with $11,000, actually, that's already taken care of. Already paid the $11,000, and then remember the $80,000. I'm the money lender, so I guess you could say, if you want to look at it, I guess mathematically, I guess.
Yeah, bring the slide back up for him.
It was, $12,000 and
Which one?
The numbers.
Okay.
so however you want to break that up.
So he said, what he said? He said,
They want to know
how much
they want to know the holding cost, but this is a little
the
different.
total cost or the holding cost?
The holding
Holding
costs.
costs.
There it is.
So it's a total amount. So but that remember now, so we got more repairs going, so that number keep going up.
Right, so we got 12K here with the 30 and the 50. So all that, you would say private repair, the 2 repairs, those are the 2 holding costs, right? That we learn to calculate and factor in. So this potential profit, remember, it's potential. It's not the exact amount.
Right.
Right? We don't have the final numbers yet until we close on the deal.
Right, when it sells. So
when it sells. All right.
Eduardo.
Eduardo again. Tone, that's your guy.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So essentially, he's saying if he's new, how can he get investors? And I'm assuming he's saying convince.
Convince?
Yeah. Right.
Ask the question again, Eduardo. If he's new, so read it again.
So I'm not reading it. So what it says is how to get investors and convince them if I am new. So I think that's what he's asking. How can he get investors, find investors, and convince them if he's new?
Ron, answer that for him, Ron. If you can.
Well, it depends. I mean, he has to, I would say get educated, get some advice, seek counsel. Like I seek counsel from the gurus, Jose, Joe, Jason, Carlos, and get educated. Present your deal to them, and then they'll take you seriously. You gotta present the deal to them, so it makes sense. If you have a good deal and you present it correctly with your numbers, and you know your numbers, then most likely you'll get people to invest in your deal and take the private or hard money class like Jason did and make money both ways.
There you go.
So one thing, and when they talk about go ahead, who's that?
That's Jose.
Oh, go ahead, Jose.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Listen, if you're convincing people, you're doing it wrong, man.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yes.
That's what I was just about to
If you have to convince people, you're doing it wrong.
That's
convincing.
That's what I was just about to say. Convincing, no. So again, it's presenting. Maybe change the word from convincing to presenting. And by presenting a deal, remember, it's all about what's in it for the other person. So what's in it for that investor that you're presenting the deal to. So you want to show, hey, I have this property right here. I feel, based off of the purchase price, the ARV, the cost, I feel that you could still earn, 20 grand, 30 grand, 40, whatever that number is. Show them how that they can basically make money on the deal. So present it to them, and then they'll say, okay, yes, it makes sense to me, or maybe that's not enough profit I'm looking for. But again, it's about you presenting the property, not convincing.
Yeah.
Your job is to have such good deals that you got people fighting for your deals. Not you having to convince people to invest in your deals.
All right, Junior wants to know, how do you put a mortgage on a property in this situation?
Oh, Big Junior. Listen, that's after you purchase a property, you can add a loan to it. So that's called a refinance. It's a strategy that we learn, right? It's if you buy a property and then you rehab it, and then you refinance it to. Is it the refinance word?
BR. Buy, rehab, or renovate, whatever you want to use. Rent it out.
Rent it out.
So
this property,
then
look,
repeat.
Put it like this: in real estate, one of the things I'm gonna give everybody a tip right here, right? This property doesn't have a loan on it in terms of a lien. This is free and clear.
There's no lien on this property.
So now, one of the advantages to real estate is you can add a mortgage to it. You can just apply for a mortgage based on the value, and the bank will give you a percentage, usually easily 80% or more, depending on, so if we have 80% and we appraise to 200 grand, right, Tom? 200? If we get to 200, if we get to the 200, what size loan can we put on this?
So that's what they talk about, LTV, loan to value.
So what would be do the math? What would be our loan amount? What would be our loan amount? Because I don't have a calculator. If we get an appraisal for 200 and we could get 80%,
It's 160.
160,000. We could put on this
And
property.
half of that goes to Jay.
You see? It's crazy. So it pays it. 160,000 would go. We would get a loan amount for 160,000. To learn more about that again, you know what to do.
All right.
We're almost
That's
there.
it. We almost done?
We're almost there, yeah.
Okay, go.
What we got?
April wants to know if anyone's willing to do business in Alaska.
Alaska.
It's too cold.
Alaska. We'd have to talk about that.
So Troy is from Philly but lives in San Antonio, and he wants to know if he was willing to fly in for 1 week. Is that a feasible strategy to partner with someone who's physically there full time?
Actually, yeah. Say that. Start over. I'm sorry. Start over again.
Say it one more time.
Okay, so he's from Philly,
Right.
but lives in San Antonio, Texas. So what he's asking is if he were to financially underwrite a deal and fly in 1 week out of the month, would that be a feasible strategy in order to partner with someone who's physically here full time? So I'm assuming physically in Philly. Physically, let's just use Philly as an example.
I think that would depend on you. Partnerships themselves, partnerships is something that you should learn about, right? In terms of partnering with someone. So with us, there's ways to learn how to partnership the right way to protect each other from each other. So if you want to learn about partnerships, that's another thing I think that you should do. That's a conversation that we can have further down the line about partnerships, because there's different ways to protect yourself with partnerships. So if you're asking me if that's a good strategy, usually we have masterminds where we talk about scenarios like that. Once you're part of the team, part of the community, we have masterminds where we talk about different strategies that you can do for your business, where you can ask even more questions like that. So you want to fly in, partner, right? You're doing a lot of things.
That's a lot.
You're doing big things. So for that, then you decide if you want to have this type of atmosphere around you, so you can answer and ask questions like that, I would say.
Yeah, and you gotta remember, if you're partner up, you're flying in, things like that. That really is dependent upon you and the person that you're partner up with. Some people will be okay with that. Other people maybe not. It all depends. So there's no real right or wrong or yes or no answer to that. It depends what makes sense for your business.
Your business at that point. So what we help is we give you an example of our business models, and we have many different business models. So within our community, you can find out what's the best business model for your business. So again, get back with the person who invited you, get your question answered on things like that. How can I learn to do good partnerships? That would be your question.
All right, so Deanne wanted to know what the conversation sounded like with the contractor you had to fire and then the new contractor.
Oh, you out of here, bro. Out of here, that's it.
Wow, that's a good conversation.
That's it, you out of here, that's it.
That's a quick, easy conversation.
Now you done.
They cancel them.
Yeah, you got, it's canceled. That's it.
Rapid fire, let's go. What's the next one?
All right, hold on. There's just a lot of comments. I'm just getting through the. A lot of the same questions. How did you find the contractors? How much did you?
Well, you can talk about the contractors. We didn't really talk about that. The ones that
find the contractor, and then did Joe pay for the contractor as well?
Well, the contract is an expense, part of the project itself. We found the contractors. They were local contractors in the area, right? We did interview them, and they just seemed fine. Remember, in the beginning, the grunt work, the demo, right? The permits, the actual license with this, is definitely what got us into that part. We started. It was just towards the middle where we had to, we weren't getting the results. The beginning was fine. The demo, which is always fine. It's always to take out the garbage, right? Get the permits for the electric, get the permits for the plumbing. That's fine. It was just when the walls had to go back up.
Right.
The finish, when the sheetrock was looking crazy.
Yeah, we walked in and did.
We saw the sheetrock. I said, "Is this supposed to look like that?"
Right. This looks
Like, I don't know if this sheetrock. It was
I ain't no
getting
contractor,
I don't
but I know.
I'm not I know this don't seem
I
right.
know this doesn't.
And the real one was when we talked about the windows and the tiles got stolen. Somebody stole the material.
How?
How? What?
So
We gotta buy it again. You see what I'm
he's like,
saying?
nah, it's not. But then the second contractor, that's the team member, right?
Right. Second contract.
Guy that you've known, so that was a good relationship
Right.
there. So that was a little different. So when
There's
they
a lot
came in,
different.
everything was smooth. So again, relationships is an integral part of any business. So what else? Rapid fire.
Insurance cover stolen stuff?
Okay.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy.
Does your property insurance cover that stolen stuff? Did you look into that?
We'd have to. We'd have to look into that. I'm sure it does. We'd have to look into that though.
All right. Then the next question is, what were the most common hidden costs? So was it permit, taxes, fees?
Well, the most common hidden cost is like today you saw a hidden cost when we walked in. I don't know if you were here earlier, but we walked into a puddle. So that's a common hidden cost. That's a brand new cost that we didn't expect. So we walked into a puddle where we know we have a leak right now. So that would be a common. That's a hidden cost that we didn't expect. Usually when you're doing a big project like this, there's always surprises. When you're gutting a property, there's always surprises. So we learned to set the budget to a point where, we got room for what we call the oops factor. It's called the oops. Oops, I ain't see that. Well, now you do. So we learn how to make provisions for that.
All right. Karima wanted to know, did you guys do any of the work yourself with the contract, everything?
Oh, the one thing we did, we brought the whole team down and we painted the walls. We had a paint party. That's the one thing we did ourselves. And we did some of the demo.
Yeah, the first day, we did have some fun banging down some walls, knocking down some cabinets, adding to all that debris you saw in those pictures. So we did have a little fun with that. But as far as all that other stuff, I'm definitely not the handyman, so I'm not your guy. You don't want me working on your house. That's not my thing.
Yeah, we did demo and we did a little demo ourselves, and we did the paint when all the stuff was. We did some of the paint ourselves.
Okay. Lisa wants to know, since you had to pay for the second contractor to redo everything, you filed legal action against the first to recoup funds.
Yeah, we're working on that too.
Working on that now,
Yeah, litigate, absolutely, definitely working on that.
What did the first contractor actually do? What did they do?
They did the demo, and they got the permits, and they started the electric and the plumbing.
Electric, plumbing. They started the sheetrock and all that good stuff.
Right, and they did the demo. Oh, they put the plumbing for the 3 bathrooms. They did the plumbing for that, and it just got crazy when they tried to close everything up. That's where it got crazy. They got the HVAC done, the heating, the cooling, the water, all of that. So everything up to the point where we had to close the walls. That's when it started to get a little hairy. Well, they didn't do the floor. They didn't do the finish. They didn't do the floors. They didn't do the tiling. They just did the studs, the framing, and then a little bit of the sheetrock, which we had to rip down anyway, and the electric and the plumbing. That's how much they did. They did the electric, the plumbing, and
rapid fire.
That's it.
All right, Ryan wants to know, does Joe get to write the interest that he's paying off on his taxes?
I mean, yeah, the interest on that I'm paying on the loan, that's part of deductions. That is a deduction, actually. The interest on most loans, if you understand construction loan, that's already you can use that as a deduction. I learned that in the tax class.
All right, Tatiana wants to know, how do you get partnered with a lender?
Say it again.
do you get partnered with a lender?
How do you get partnered with a lender? You gotta learn how to speak to a lender and find the right one, and you have to learn how to show the lender how the lender can make money on what. So to partner with a lender, what do you have to show a lender?
To partner with anybody,
Anyone.
you have to show the person that you're partnering with what is in it for them. Just like the same thing when presenting a deal, right? Present the lender, present whoever. They want to know, okay, great, what's in it for me? Everybody always think about it. Everybody wants to know, how am I understand you trying to make money, but you're bringing me into this situation. How am I going to make money, or how is this going to benefit me as well? That's the key thing you always want to remember when you're doing anything.
Man, we hitting on 2 hours. That's it.
Let's see.
That's it.
Questions were coming in. Let's see. Did you have? I'll ask Ada's question. Did you have an
Ada,
inspection?
that's the last question. Ada's question is the last question.
Did you have an inspection of the roof?
You know what? We had a contractor come, and we didn't have a inspection. Here's the thing with the roof. There's holes in the roof. We know we got to get it fixed. Period. So we got a roofer, and then we got another roofer. But the roof, it's still leaking. So, I mean, you would think that it's done. It's just in this case, we got a leak. It's not done right. We got to bring.
Yeah, that's what some of the repair costs actually in the first.
Yeah.
round.
So the first thing we did was the roof.
Yeah.
The first thing we did, it was obvious. So even an inspection on the roof, okay, there's a hole. We gotta fix the roof.
Yeah.
So it has to be the whole roof.
Like, yeah.
Now, did we pick the right roofer?
That's a different question.
That's a different question. You know what I'm saying? We might not have picked the right roofer, but you know, the inspection, when we inspected the house, we knew it was a gut job.
Yeah. That bathroom upstairs that you guys saw, literally.
Yeah, you saw the pictures.
You walked up there, you looked up, and again, there was no roof. That was a big hole. It was raining in this property for Lord knows how long. So we knew you didn't need an inspection to know that you know that needed to be done.
With that, Big Ron, take us out. Listen, I'm ready to celebrate my birthday. Right? That's it, Vanessa.
What I will say is that Eduardo had a couple of questions.
Eduardo, listen.
Get back to the person who invited you.
There you go.
And they'll be able to help answer your questions.
Listen, we appreciate all the questions that were asked. Right? It's my birthday. I'm going to start celebrating. We're going to hang out a little bit. Right? Ron, take us home, brother.
All right. Thank you guys. Sorry we didn't get to all your questions. It was 2 hours. I didn't realize it'd be that many questions. Again, I want to thank my panelists, Carlos, also Unstoppable. I mean, awesome information. Jose, thank you for being on.